So recently, I watched this Making Polyrhythms from Sidewalks video from Dennis Martinson, who asked the question, does Sidewalk patterns djent? He basically took some patterns and put drum kick and guitar chugs on it manually and played around. It turned out that this is actually a good starting point for writing polymeter heavy djent or thal riffs. This simple idea seemed interesting to me because I often struggle with writing good riffs. Since I'm a programmer, I decided to develop an application that generates complicated, polyrhythmic riffs using patterns. It took me some time to do that, but it's finally deployed to GitHub pages for everyone's usage. I hope it will ultimately answer the question, but does it djent, once and for all? The basic idea is that program generates a song which consists of sections, and every section contains instruments like drums, overdrive and clean guitars, synth and bass that play back together. Every instrument playbacks own part generated by patterns that loop within the section. Let's have a quick look at how it works. By default it shows the demo song just to provide a basic idea of how it sounds like. On the first load it will take some time because it will load instrument samples, but once they are loaded they will be cached in the browser and subsequent runs will take less time. When playback is stopped, it will allow you to download audio tracks. Tracks per instruments. Full mix as a master track. It also allows to download a MIDI file that contains 7 channels, 1 per instrument. Every section can be fine-tuned. One can enable or disable instrument, change instrument patterns, set up additional parameters that change instrument behavior, and so on. You can add sections to compose more complicated things. From the first glance it might look complicated. Please read the user manual where you will find deep details about how sections and instruments work. I sampled 3 octaves of my Chord X3 guitar, tuned down to drop A1 with 10 to 80 strings on it. Samples are processed using Helix native software and include 2 different variations, for left and right channels, with 3 articulations: dead, muted, harmonic. I also sampled 3 octaves of my chord action B plus 5 strings bass, tuned down to drop A0. Samples are processed using Helix native software. Only A0 samples have articulation for dead and muted notes. Clean guitar samples are the same ones as for overdrive guitar, just processed with different preset for clean tone. The same story about synth samples, processed with another Helix native preset. As for the drums, they are Get Good Drums Architects Kit plus Restraints Kit for Perfect Drums Player mixed together. The whole application is written in TypeScript built on top of Tone.js web audio framework. This is the thing that offers digital audio workstation features as a programming interface. The core of the app is the sequencer, the thing that schedules an array of notes on each step for playing back. There are also some building blocks like pattern generators that actually generate an array of notes by some predefined rules that can be tuned by the user. Another part of the app is an audio subsystem that utilizes Tone.js framework and records channels audio and generates MIDI file. So, what's next? My next goal is to write a wrapper on top of this application that will generate djent or thal patterns for you and compose them into generic djent song sections. In other words, next step is to write an app that randomly generates the whole song automatically.